Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, February 17th. We've been joined by council members Reich, Fry, Quincy, Cano. Councilmember Warsami is not in town today. He's on official city business elsewhere. We have a number of public hearings on our agenda. Before we open our public hearing agenda, I want to have the opportunity to introduce our new housing director, Andrea Brennan. Would you mind coming up and just saying a few words? I should have probably mentioned that to you in advance. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. I look forward to meeting with all of you individually, and I'm really excited to be here. It's my third day on the job. I successfully found my way over to Public Services and City Hall from Crown Roller, so and got my name badge. So.
It's official. Well, welcome. We're very excited to have the opportunity to work with you. I also want to take a moment to thank David Frank and assisting wherever he's needed at the CPED administrative level. So thank you for all the work you've been doing, and welcome, Andrea. We'll then start the public hearing agenda, starting with item number 1, which is a land sale at 422 30th Avenue North. Ms. Oates, welcome.
Avenue North. The city has received an offer from PPL Homes LLC. They would like to acquire this property for $7,000. They will be rehabilitating it and selling it to an owner-occupant. The property, is an existing single-family home, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, approximately 1,235 square feet. The property will be rehabilitated in accordance with Neighborhood Stabilization Program guidelines, and as I said, sold to an owner-occupant. And staff feels this is a good proposal for this property.
Are there any questions for Ms. Oates on item number 1? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is a sale of 422 30th Avenue North to PPL Homes. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 1 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to land sale number 2, 2658 Queen Avenue North. Ms. Oates.
Madam Chair, this is a existing single-family home. It contains 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and is approximately 616 square feet. The city advertised this property along with a number of other properties to public developers, private developers, and nonprofits. This is the only offer that was received. This gentleman, Cameron Alexander and David Erickson, live next door to this property. The property will be rehabilitated, and Mr. Alexander's mother will be moving in and being an owner-occupant in this home. Staff feels that this is a good proposal for this property and is recommending approval.
Okay, Ms. Oates, I'm just wondering why, if our policy is we sell for reuse value, we're selling well under the reuse value option, just because it's the only sale?
It is the only offer that was received, yes.
So are we saying to the public, any property, any lot we have on the market right now, just make us an offer. If you're the only one, we'll take it, even though it's below market value?
Generally, I would say no, that is not the case. But in this case, we are buying these properties from Hennepin County tax forfeited land, and this is what we paid for them. So we are essentially reimbursing the city's costs 100% on this property and any other properties in these 6 land sales that are being sold potentially for less than their appraised value.
Well, this one, the total CPED cost is $41,000. The reuse value is $30,000, and we're selling for $8,000. So I guess I just feel like we'd have, I'm just going by the report that I'm being given. No need to shake your head at me. Unless there's something wrong with the report, I'm just reading what I see out loud. So I'm wondering if we should be telling folks on the north side, anything with a for sale sign on it, give us an offer, we'll sell it. I don't object to selling it to them. I'm just wondering, how is this consistent with everything else we're doing?
Yeah. Committee members, Chair Goodman, this property, this is not, I mean, this is outside of the norm. We had marketed the property. There were several individuals that came in and went through the property. The value of for this property was $40,000, was what we paid for it. This property has sat in this condition. It was the tornado damaged property, has sat in this condition for over a year without any offers. So when we received this offer from Mr. Cameron Alexander,
Looks like a pretty nice house.
yeah,
Doesn't look like it's tornado damaged,
it was tornado damaged.
but our value is 30,000. So could anyone come in and pay 8? I mean, there are so many questions
Yes.
about how we handle things.
Yes.
From a fairness point of view, what is the criteria that someone else should be looking at to say, I could get a property for whatever I offer because it's the only offer?
Yes, we aren't suggesting that this should be the norm that we employ. We're suggesting that because this property had been in this condition, the property was acquired for $40,000, later appraised for $30,000. This is the only offer we received, so we're coming forward to the council and asking you. We're making a recommendation for a
And
sale.
my question is why? What makes this different than any other tornado damaged property or property that we've had in our inventory for an extended period of time?
But for our selling it for this price, we believe that this property will continue to remain in our inventory because we've explored other avenues for development. We reached out to the nonprofit developers, even with providing them some financial subsidies. They declined picking up this property. The location of the property being on a busy corridor, the fact that it's a one-bedroom house, and the condition of the property warrants our coming to the table and asking for the sale for $7,000. That's the recommendation
Why
from
isn't
staff.
any of this information in the written report that we and everyone else in the public received?
The information in the report does reference the location, the size of the property, and the condition of the property.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Our point in the report under comments is the exact same comment under every other land sale of the other 6. Says it's a boilerplate language. You want me to go look at the next one? We can have this debate here. It's the exact same thing in report number 3, the exact same explanation. So I do think there are a lot of questions from people, especially on the north side, about how we fairly dispose of our properties. And this seems to me to be an outlier of all the others that have been within today's group of 6.
This is an outlier, Madam Chair. This property we're coming to the council, to this committee, asking you to sell it for less than its fair market value because of the condition of the property, location of the property, and the size of the property.
Do you have a question, Councilmember Frye?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe, and I apologize, I haven't read the entirety of this report, but I believe it was acquired on foreclosure, is that right?
That is correct.
At $40,000?
Yes.
And normally when you buy a property on foreclosure, it's already at or below market value. In other words, it's kind of a caveat emptor, buyer beware theory. So it's already at kind of a rock bottom price. I guess my question is, so they came in, David Erickson and Cameron Alexander came in at $8,000. Did we attempt to negotiate with them a little bit and say, well, how about 15?
We did.
Okay.
Their position was there was a similar property, a similar size property on the market for significantly less than what the appraised value that we had put on for this property. And had we not been willing to accept the $7,000, they would have gone to another location, purchase another property. That is not, that shouldn't be the rationale for the negotiations, but we told them that based on the offer that they were bringing forward, it warrants council's approval. So we're going to come to the table with a recommendation to council, and if you so choose, we'll move forward with the sale. If you don't, then we'll not move forward and then look at other avenues for the treatment of this blighted property.
Okay. Yeah, that just sounds like a spectacular deal. $8,000 for a house. I have nothing further to say.
Are Mr. Cameron and Cameron Alexander and David Erickson here? So they obviously didn't think it was a big deal. They're not even here to ask us to make this gigantic exception that's not noted in the staff report. Okay, are there any other questions for staff? Okay, this is a public hearing on item number 2, which is a land sale at 2658 Queen Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and move to deny the sale. Are there further comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item has not been sold. I would ask to meet with staff and the council member of the ward to talk about what happened here with regard to this report, potentially after the meeting. We'll move on to item number 3, which is a land sale at 3604 18th Avenue South. Ms. Oates.
Madam Chair, committee members, this is a property that the city of Minneapolis purchased from Hennepin County. It was a tax forfeited parcel. Again, the city advertised this parcel a minimum of 3 times. We held multiple public hearings in order to garner interest in this property. It was sent out to the neighborhood group, who did not respond to or interview the developer. The developer is intending to purchase this property and owner occupy it. We are selling this property with tax title, so the purchaser will be responsible for clearing title on this at their own expense. The price of the property is $18,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and staff is recommending approval of this sale.
Are there any questions for staff on 3604 18th Avenue South? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 3, which is land sale at 3604 18th Avenue South. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move approval of this recommendation.
Item number 3 has been moved for approval. Further comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move then on to item number 4, which is 4238 Thomas Avenue North. Ms. Oates.
Sorry, I missed one. 4238 Thomas Avenue North is a property, again, that the city purchased from Hennepin County through tax forfeiture. This property, again, was advertised multiple times, and informational meetings were held. We did receive 2 offers on this property, one from Omberg Inc. and the other from Jenny Investments. Both developers went out and met with the neighborhood group, and the neighborhood group felt strongly that they were in support of the Omberg Inc. proposal for this property. The price of the property is $15,100. It is currently a duplex, and they will be converting it to a single family and selling it for owner occupancy once rehabilitation is complete. This will be a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, approximately 1,700 square foot single family home. And staff is recommending approval of Omberg Inc. as the developer. And if Omberg Inc. is unable to perform, then approval of Jenny Investments as an alternate purchaser on this land, on this property.
Are there any questions for staff on the sale of 4238 Thomas Avenue North? Councilmember President Johnson, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Madam Chair, thank you. I don't have any questions for staff, but I just want to compliment them on their good work. This is a really challenging property that has great potential. And I think since I've been on the council, actually, this property's been vacant or poorly maintained, and it was the craziest thing. It was a gentleman who lived in another address in my ward, and he had this property and nobody in it. And it's Shannon McDonough reminded me that he remembered it when he was a crime prevention specialist, because we had a mutual friend who lived next door, and she was always having to call and get the lawn cut. And it's a potentially it's a great block, and I think good work with the neighborhood association, and was our staff that persuaded the neighborhood association to back off on their recommendation to demolish the property. They were so tired of dealing with it, which I don't blame them for, but they met with the contractor, staff brought the contractor in and assured them that it would be nicely rehabbed and has, again, the great potential. So thank you to staff for the great work on this.
Well, that was great that you were able to provide that context for this sale. I really appreciate you being here today. Are there further questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 4, which is the sale of 4238 Thomas Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of the item before us.
Approval of item number 4 is in front of us. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 5, which is the sale of 2600 Irving Avenue North. Ms. Oates.
2600 Irving Avenue North is another property that we purchased from Hennepin County Tax Forfeit. It was publicly advertised. Developers were walked through and encouraged to submit offers. We did receive one offer on this property. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, approximately 1,300 square foot home. The developer will receive tax title and will be responsible for clearing title on this property. Staff is recommending approval on this land sale.
Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What did we buy this property for on tax forfeiture?
Sorry,
We have it. It's okay.
it's,
It's 30,000, it looks like.
Plus 6. Yeah.
no, we purchased it for about $5,000. $4,915, 16.
Is that what the staff report says?
And in this particular case, we're actually selling it for more than the reuse value.
Here's 5.
Just give me 1 second here, I
No, it's all right.
apologize.
Here.
Certainly.
Yep, that's right. Thank you.
Other questions for staff? Seeing none, this is a public hearing on item number 5, which is the sale of 2600 Irving Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 5 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on to item number 6. Ms. Oates?
Madam Chair, committee members, this is a sale of 2 properties, 2207 16th and 3500 Clinton Avenue South. These are, again, properties that we purchased. We advertised 3 different times. We, again, encouraged multiple developers to go through this property, evaluate it. This developer is new to the city. They're very interested in these 2 properties. They met with the neighborhood group, got strong support from the neighborhood group for development of both of these properties. Staff is recommending sale of these properties. 3500 Clinton is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,460 square foot structure, and 2207 16th is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,036 square foot property. I believe Mr. Molina will be renting these properties.
So it says in here the developer is a realtor and intends to rehabilitate and sell to owner occupants.
Oh, I apologize. Out of 6 reports, I forgot.
So that would be my question. I mean, the whole purpose of our intervention is to try to get someone good in here to buy these properties and clean them up and sell them to owner occupants. So
Correct.
it would be contrary for, we could let the county auction them off to the bad people if we wanted.
Correct. I misspoke. Mr. Molina is interested in multiple additional properties. We anticipate continuing to work with him on properties. And yes, I apologize that he is selling them. He has told us that he's intending to sell them for owner occupancy.
So I guess my question is, what can we do to make sure that happens? Because if you come in and tell us you're going to do something and we sell to you at a pretty low price, he could really just fix them up minimally and rent them.
Madam Chair, we continue to have a cloud on the title until we sign off on all of the rehab work that's done, and we don't remove it until they close with the owner occupant. So the city will continue to have an interest in the property until the sale is complete to an owner occupant.
Okay, that's great. So we have some sort of,
Yes.
there's a reason why we're doing this and not just selling them through the county so they can become rental properties.
Correct, Madam Chair.
All right, this is a sale. Are there other questions? Councilmember Cano.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak to this a little bit because one of the properties is in my ward. And I met with Mr. Wilson Molina personally and upon his request. So this is an interesting issue because I think half of our city is a renter population, and then we also have a very active, diverse homeownership initiative that we should consider strengthening and further funding. So I'm curious to delve deeper into this issue. I guess I would just want to express my interest, and I know that I've reached out to Alfred Port and his team to talk more about these issues, and of course sent an email to our new housing director. So it's an interesting balance that we have to strike between helping to lift up tenants who are landlords who are responsible and who can really provide rental housing opportunities to our community members that are affordable and that meet our minimum housing standards. And I know there's been a lot of media coverage around the issues that our regulatory services director, Nuria, is leading in terms of really helping those landlords to comply with our expectations and also really advance this discussion of how do we improve homeownership opportunities in our ward. I'm a renter myself, so I'm sensitive to issues when it comes to folks renting and what access we're giving them to rent properties in different areas. So your questions have helped me think about this a little bit more, and I appreciate the attention you're raising around these issues because we're so busy dealing with so many big things here on the council that this is just a nice wake-up call to really look at the patterns and the sort of approach that we as a city are prioritizing when dealing with a lot of these housing opportunities. So I will be likely reaching out to you even more in the housing team to really dig deep and figure out how this is really shaping our city overall.
Are there other questions for staff on the land sale at 2207 16th Avenue South and 3500 Clinton Avenue South? Okay, seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on the sale of both of those. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move forward the land sales on this item.
Item number 6 has been moved forward for approval. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. We'll then move to item number 7. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have an application for an on-sale wine and strong beer restaurant Class E by the People's Organic Coffee and Wine. They're going to locate inside Calhoun Square, which is 3001 Hennepin Avenue. They will have seating on the interior for 43 persons, and they do not have an exterior area. They request hours from Sunday to Thursday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. They will have food service all hours of their operation. This will be a restaurant serving organic foods, wines, and coffees. A public hearing is required for this application because this portion of Calhoun Square, this retail space has not been had an alcohol license before. So we did a public hearing notice. We notified all property owners within 600 feet. We sent a notice to the Carrick Neighborhood Association, the Uptown Business Association, and the Lake Street Council. We did receive 3 responses to that public hearing notification. All 3 responses were not in support of the application. The basic themes are that the noise from nightclubs and patios in the uptown area is becoming a problem. This particular application will not have an exterior area. They don't have any entertainment, and so they will be confined to the interior areas of Calhoun Square. Based on that, I would recommend that this application be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 7? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 7, which is a new business license for People's Organic Coffee and Wine Cafe. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Over here, yeah.
I'm Jewel Roberts. I'm the owner of People's Organic, and we're really excited. We live in the neighborhood, and so it's just kind of something that we plan. My husband's the chef, so we're very much a family operating system. But we're looking forward to the area. We've always wanted to open something in Uptown, and so the property to us is really great. I like what Achenberg is doing to Calhoun Square. Someone that used to shop there 17 years ago and hasn't recently, they're bringing a lot more to the table right now, and it's really nice to see the Calhoun Mall itself growing, and so I'm excited to be part of that.
Thank you for being here. Our CFO, Deputy CFO is watching the baby for you, so you can.
I have a 6-month.
She had no problem jumping up to assist in watching the baby. So are there any questions for the applicant since she took the time to be down here today? Seeing none, thank you very much for being here today. Is there anyone else here to testify on this item? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Thank you for being here today. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move approval of this item.
Item number 7 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 8. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by Twins Cafe, Inc., doing business as Pizza La Vista at 504 First Avenue North. The applicants are applying for an extended hours license to be able to operate from 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday, and from 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. Public hearing is required for this application. We did notify all property owners within 300 feet of the establishment. We notified the Warehouse District Business Association, the Downtown Minneapolis and North Loop Neighborhood Associations. We received no responses from that notification. This location has operated as a restaurant since 2010. The current owners took over operation in just last September of 2014. So we do have new owners at this restaurant. The previous owner was granted a conditional use permit to have hours till 2 a.m. 7 days a week. The applicants proposed to extend those hours 1 hour basically during the week to 3 a.m. and till 4 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The First Precinct Police Department commander, as well as the licensing division, did meet with and reviewed and approved security plan for this business for their late night food operation. We've developed a series of 10 conditions that the applicants have agreed to. We have had no significant police calls or complaints at this location since the new owners took over. Staff is recommending that this application be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 8? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 8, which is a new license application with extended hours for Pizza La Vista. Is anyone here to speak to this issue? You're welcome to come up. Please do state your name and address for the record.
My name is Hani Elbaz. I'm the owner. Thank you for the committee and the chairman. We just want an opportunity to succeed in this location since we took over. Since the late night business is usually, like most of my business is around 80% in the late night, especially in the weekends. And when people come to the entertainment area in the weekends, they usually go to the clubs. And by the time they come out at 2, then I'm closed. So I would like to extend the hours to get all my customers in the place afterwards.
Okay, thank you for your
so much.
testimony. Thank you for being here today. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is part of an overall initiative that we're working on right now to expand the number of food options that we have downtown late night. Right now, we really have just one. So after the bars close, every single person and their mother heads over to Pizza Luce, and inevitably what you have is a convergence of both people as well as sometimes problems. And the idea here is a disbursement of the people, and more options to buy a slice of pizza in this case would not only make it so that we weren't just rolling up all the sidewalks at the same time, but it would also enable people to hopefully soak up some of the alcohol and get home safely. So Thank you for the initiative here. We're going to make sure that the operation is safe and secure, and you guys are doing all of your due diligence, but we'll look forward to moving this forward. I move approval of this item.
Approval has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Before we take our quasi-judicial public hearing, I'm going to move the consent agenda. I couldn't figure out why poor Emily was still sitting here, and now I remember why. The consent agenda is items number 10 through 16. It includes all of the regular license applications, accepting grants from DEED and Hennepin County, as well as the Livable Communities Demonstration Account event grants, approving the annual McPhail Center for Music annual report, a contract with Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center to implement a step-up program, and 2 referrals to staff in items 15 or 16. Are there any items on the consent agenda anyone would like to pull for discussion? Seeing none on the consent agenda, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item has been approved. We'll move on to our last item, which is our quasi-judicial public hearing being chaired by Councilmember Frye.
So we have one item on the agenda for today. It's item number 9. It's the Mediterranean Deli over at 523 Cedar Avenue South. I believe staff are recommending revocation of the food manufacturer license held by Melina Youssef due to unpaid taxes. I'm going to read a quick introductory statement here. This is a quasi-judicial business license hearing for which this committee is limited by law to hearing argument from the licensee or the licensee's representative, but is prohibited from considering any further evidence or taking any further testimony. This means that the parties are required to limit their comments to arguments specifically addressing the evidence or testimony introduced before the administrative law judge, which is part of the record that's already before us. So you may not offer, and we may not consider any new or additional evidence. The committee has reviewed the report and recommendation of the ALJ and any written exceptions filed by the parties and has been provided with the official record of the administrative hearing. Based solely on this official record and the arguments that the parties make today, the City Council may affirm, modify, or reverse the recommendation that is before us. So I think I'm looking to either Grant Wilson or City staff or Joel Fussy to present on the matter.
Thank you, Chair Fry. The City of Minneapolis received a notice of license revocation for debt. The notice requires that the city revoke the licenses held by the Mediterranean Deli to Incorporated. In fact, it even has timelines that we have to comply with. On January 26th of 2015, we mailed notification to Ms. Youssef, the owner of this business, by certified mail of the potential revocation of her licenses due to the unpaid taxes. On February 7th, 2015, we hand-delivered another notice of this hearing today to make sure that they had adequate notice of this hearing. Based on the requirement from the Minnesota Department of Revenue, I recommend that you revoke the license for non-payment of taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is the licensee or the licensee's attorney present? If you may come on up and state your name and your address, and if you could keep your comments specific to that which have been addressed already at the ALJ hearing.
My name is Melina Youssef. I am the owner of Mediterranean Deli, 523 Cedar Avenue. I'm willing to pay the debt of the taxes if I get a little bit time. My husband is back home. He went to Africa since 2007. So he told me he's going to send me money to pay off this, and it's not that easy to send from Africa to here. And I'm a mother with 8 kids. I couldn't do it by myself. So I'm trying my best to pay off. I know I have to do that, but I just need a little bit of time, if that's possible.
Thank you. Councilmember Goodman.
Mr. Wilson, do we have any leeway in telling them how much time? I thought the state says they haven't paid, you have no choice. Are we in the business of setting up payment plans, or please explain to me what the state is telling us to do?
Chair Fry, Councilmember Goodman, we do not have a choice in this matter. The city would have to receive a tax clearance from the Department of Revenue before the council meets for this to approve this agenda, which is a week from Friday.
And Mr. Wilson, what are the possibilities of that happening?
Chair Fry, the applicant could satisfy the tax debt, and the Minnesota Department of Revenue issues immediate tax clearances to us when the debt has been paid. So if that occurs before we can get it scheduled before next Friday's council, that could happen.
So you definitely have a sympathetic story, and we do feel for you. That being said, we are somewhat constrained by the law in this case. I don't know how long it takes for a ship to sail across, well, however long that ship is sailing. But what we would ask is that you try and pay off those taxes by next Friday. So not this coming Friday, but next Friday when our full council meets. And if so, you can continue on doing business as normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but we're looking for some people who's here from Ethiopia who can give me the money, and then he can give the money from their family from Africa, because they cannot send money from Ethiopia to America. So I need a little bit time so I can figure out who have business here, who have money.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, what is the option? How would we go about getting some form of waiver from the state? Is that an initiative that we would bring forward?
Chair Fry, I've not ever seen the Minnesota Department of Revenue issue a waiver in these types of matters. They have been working on this one quite a while, and they've issued a notice that we must revoke. So it's a serious matter.
So, Ms. Youssef, all we can give you at this point legally is the option to try and pull together the unpaid taxes by the full council meeting next Friday. I do feel for you, and this is literally as much as we are legally able to give you at this point. So do what you can in the next 10, 11 days here.
You mean next Friday in this week?
Not this Friday, but next Friday. So this would be let me pull up the exact date here for you. So this would be February 27th. So you'd have until February 27th to pull together the money to fill in the back taxes. That's all. I know there's really nothing else we can do for you legally at this point. So do what you can. Do your very best. We do feel for you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Wilson or staff, what would be the appropriate motion in this case? I'm assuming it would not be to approve at this point, but would be to postpone at least temporarily? So what would be the appropriate motion at this point, given that we are going to give Ms. Youssef until next Friday, February 27th, to pay off the taxes that are presently due?
If you choose, you could move forward as that recommendation, and if the bill is paid, then take the action as appropriate on the council floor.
Thank you. Councilmember Goodman.
I'm good with that. Mr. Wilson, do you know what's the amount of unpaid taxes? It doesn't say in the report.
Madam Chair, the amount that I was quoted from the Department of Revenue was $25,000 for sales tax that was collected and not remitted.
Okay, so I want to make it clear. Your license will be revoked on the 27th if you don't pay the state what you owe them. We have no choice. It doesn't matter how sympathetic or not we are. The state is ordering us to do so, and that is a pretty hefty amount. I want to note to members of the committee also, this is a quasi-judicial hearing, so we should not be lobbying other people to go around state law between now and then and change the outcome, because only what's happened in this meeting is what is in front of us.
Councilmember Goodman, that is correct. We can only, at this point, go with what is already before us. I would like to forward this item without recommendation at this point. All those in approval say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. That item is forwarded without recommendation. Councilmember Goodman.
Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.